On the 8th of May 1925, the writer C.J. Langenhoven submitted a remarkable bill in the Parliament of the former Union of South Africa. This led to Afrikaans, alongside English, being recognized as an official language of the Union. The Constitution of South Africa in 1996 also ensured the continued existence of Afrikaans as one of the country's 12 official languages. Afrikaans as a language originated centuries before its official status came into effect. What makes the origin of Afrikaans especially significant is that it developed on African soil. Since the mid-1600s, the Dutch East India Company had established a supply and trading settlement at the Cape. From the beginning, the Cape was a multilingual community in which Europeans of Dutch, Portuguese, German and French descent, as well as slaves from Malaysia and Indonesia, and indigenous communities such as the Khoisan, came into contact with one another. The development of Afrikaans can be traced back to the need for a simplified bridging language that enabled people from diverse communities to communicate with one another in trade and daily life. Although the language remained based on Dutch, Afrikaans increasingly incorporated the sounds, words and structures of the other languages spoken in the area. Over time, the inclusion of words from indigenous black languages further enriched the Afrikaans vocabulary. Today, Afrikaans speakers form the third largest language group in South Africa, with more than 6.5 million people speaking it as a home language. Approximately 60% of Afrikaans speakers in the country are not white. This makes Afrikaans a shared South African language across racial and cultural communities, a language that belongs to everyone who speaks it. The War Museum in Bloemfontein was established in 1931 to commemorate the suffering of Afrikaners during the South African War of 1899 to 1902. Since 1994, this museum and the Afrikaans language have, in many respects, shared a similar legacy. Many people viewed the museum and the language as nationalist symbols of exclusion and oppression. Nevertheless, over time, the museum repositioned itself and developed into an inclusive national heritage institution for all South Africans.
The museum played a visionary role in enriching the historical narrative of the war by acknowledging the contributions and suffering of black South Africans without minimizing the death and hardship of Afrikaners. In the process, the museum has become a space for nation building, social cohesion and nation healing in South Africa. In a similar, inclusive spirit, Afrikaans in present-day South Africa now also reflects its multicultural and multilingual origins within a broader social history of our country.
The War Museum is state-owned and falls under the National Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Against this background, the department and the Ministry of Sport, Arts and Culture recently hosted a unique ministerial event in collaboration with the museum in Bloemfontein. On Saturday, the 9th of May 2026, Minister Gayton McKenzie acted as host during the 100-year commemoration of Afrikaans as an official language in South Africa. Throughout the day, approximately 2,000 people attended the event on the museum grounds. The official program began with the director of the museum, Toki Pretorius, welcoming the guests of honor and members of the community to the event. Thereafter, Dr. Masehu Chabalala, the head of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture and Recreation in the Free State Government, introduced the keynote speaker. Minister McKenzie strongly emphasized the role of Afrikaans in a multilingual South Africa.
Het is my besondere voorreg om vandag hier voor u te kan staan. En ek doen dit nie as 'n besoeker by 'n ander gemeenskap se viering nie, maar as iemand vir wie hierdie taal die heel eerste was waarmee ek die wêreld leer ken het. Afrikaans is die taal van my mense, van my kinderjare en van die innerlike gesprek wat ek met myself voer wanneer ek alleen is. Afrikaans is 'n amptelike taal van Suid-Afrika en dit is 'n mylpaal vandag om dit te vier. Nie met selfvoldaanheid nie, maar met dankbaarheid en met 'n eerlike oog op die pad wat ons geloop het as Afrikaanssprekende mense. Die geskiedenis van hierdie taal is nooit eenvoudig of netjies nie. Dit is, soos Afrikaans self, kompleks en betwis, soms pragtig en soms pynlik. Afrikaans is 'n baie besondere taal in hierdie land. Afrikaans is net so belangrik soos Engels, Zulu, Sotho, Xhosa. Jy moet nooit skam kry om te sê Afrikaans is jou eerste taal nie. As jy 'n probleem het met Afrikaans, is baie maklik. Moet dit net nie praat nie. Maar los vir ons om dit te praat.
Following the official proceedings, the rest of the day consisted of presenting approximately 20 program items that offered something for everyone. In an atmosphere of celebration and inclusivity, the exciting program included diverse entertainment and opportunities for reflection, with Afrikaans as the unifying factor. Members of the local community took the opportunity to meet Minister Mackenzie personally and to pose for the customary photograph. The younger generation was also not overlooked. There was more than enough opportunity for children to enjoy themselves in the safe environment of the museum. Amid the busy program, visitors were treated to lunch to strengthen the inner self. Many visitors also used the opportunity to view the museum's indoor and outdoor exhibitions. In this way, many of them discovered for the first time the unfolding stories of the South African War and the role of all South Africans in it. A panel discussion on the historical background of Afrikaans was presented. This was followed by a recital from the treasure chest of older and modern Afrikaans poetry and literature. The ministerial event has indeed been successful in placing Afrikaans in the spotlight as a unique South African creation and a rich tapestry of diverse influences. It was precisely this diversity, this cultural and linguistic fusion within the context of a multilingual and democratic South Africa that transformed the day into a special occasion.
Afrikaans, my taal, my rots. Vir jou sal ek beklei, dis weer binne my. Afrikaans sal ons bly. Afrikaans, my taal, my rots. Yes. sal ek beklei, dis die lewe binne my. Afrikaans sal ek bly. Afrikaans sal ons bly.